What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report for probably one of the diciest games we've
Yeah, it
had
was pretty
here.
dicey. It was pretty dicey.
I want to preface everything we say here with you were actually getting some pretty good attack rolls in there.
Yeah.
It's just for whatever reason my defense rolls
Your
were
defense
on
rolls
absolute fire, man.
and your attack rolls were incredibly solid.
They were. I think on almost every attack I was rolling at least one crit
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. So I think any discussion we have has to be prefaced with this was kind of the diciest game.
Well, I will definitely say that I took a turn to use Supersonic Annihilator, and I should have just spent 5 because I set up the Sweet Beam. I intended to do the Sweet Beam, and I'm like, wow, but look at the big area attack. I can get Carol with just 2. I gave Carol extra energy that I didn't need to, and I punked Deadpool when I was thinking I needed to punk him to make sure I got priority, while at the same time, I didn't knock anyone, or I didn't daze anyone. So,
and I think after the fact, we started actually looking at it and I was like, well, wait, you had priority all along.
Yeah.
So there definitely was some plays that, in retrospect, I thought when you turned around with the all according to plan going into round 2, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of interesting here and see what happens. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't really materialize into what you needed there.
Yeah.
And I brought a very punchy team.
Yes.
Like there's no question about it.
Let's talk about that punchy team a little bit. Carol and A-Force.
I love her. I've wanted Captain Marvel to be good in anywhere for a long time. And my goodness, in A-Force, she was just getting powered up like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And I finally blew all my power going into with her last activation there.
Yep.
But she had power to burn the entire bloody time.
Yeah.
And she, honestly, I don't know if she or She-Hulk was really kind of the MVP in this one, because I think they both got a lot of work done.
Sure.
But Carol she felt really good.
Okay.
In this one, like her new suite of abilities and everything like that, just fantastic.
And what about Black Widow?
She stayed the course. I did not like the matchup between Black Widow and Red Skull there, and somehow Widow came out on top of that one.
Yeah, she had a little support from Carol, but she was not going down. It was not like a.
She's very tanky.
Yeah.
Right. Like getting within range 2 of her, where she's getting her reroll, or she's counting blanks, and then her calculated risk, where she's just getting to reroll everything.
Yeah.
Just gives her just so much things. Now, I think I wasn't getting to reroll against your energy attacks.
Yes.
But even so, she's very tanky. Extremely so.
She definitely felt very, very different. Now, the fact she also has 3 energy defense, we both thought she had 4 going into this, and I was like, oof, tough team. But yeah, I still think she was very, very effective against that side, and I'm very.
To be honest, I thought this was a suicide play. Yeah. I thought running Black Widow up there was like, okay, yeah, she's going to soak some actions.
Yep.
But I thought between Bullseye and Red Skull, yeah, okay, I think they have a reasonable chance of taking her down. And just, yeah, when I think, was it Red Skull only put 3 onto her or something like that?
Yeah. No, he put 2. Bullseye did a I never miss. And that was the 3 damage she took. And I was like, whoa, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, she just went up there, she took the point, and she just held on to it.
Didn't she just light up Bullseye with a oh yeah, I'll just poke. Yep, you're asleep now.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. My opening salvos into into crossbones, where it's just take 6.
Yeah.
With Jen, right? That should not have happened.
Yeah.
At all. Because it really put you on the back foot. You already had an injured guy kicking around.
Well, and I was planning on having 1 or 2 of my guys go down because I wanted the extra movement for Claw, but at the same time, I wasn't supposed to be crossbones.
Yep. Valkyrie didn't have anything to do this game.
I felt like she was walking behind with a mop and just cleaning up the blood from the streets because everybody else was in for violence. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All of my team showed up when they actually did stuff. Valkyrie, though, never got to really do much. But yeah, I mean that when something is firing on all cylinders, it's really hard to come back against that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've had our fair share of games going both ways in that regard, and it's tough. And I got to compliment you on maintaining your cool with everything.
Yeah, we play an awful lot of dice games, so
we do.
This just happened to be the diciest one.
We do. My favorite is still the goblins versus shadow warriors hiding in a forest that we forgot about until we were cleaning up. But yeah, like I gotta say, like the addition of Captain Marvel, new Black Widow to A-Force, like they feel really good.
Yeah,
Um, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to see Claw and Deadpool and Crossbones really do their thing because I think Claw's a great character. First off,
I do too.
I really like new Crossbones, and Deadpool's upgrades are quite good.
Yes, yes.
Um,
He is still a little squishy on the front,
he is.
but I definitely put him at maximum risk. I knew he was facing down Carol and
Th-
Jen, so
he's a character who really needs exceptional healing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the unfortunate thing is, like, you didn't have it in this particular list.
No, no, and I definitely had some ideas about that, but okay, well, I'll go back to the drawing board and bring something nastier next time.
So, would you have made any changes to your list?
Um, okay, so in list planning and the way the points were stacking up when we selected our crises, I had well, Elektra's usually the one that I put in this slot. I had Shadowland Daredevil or I had Red Skull. And I wanted to try Red Skull out because I really felt like he didn't get a good showing on the table. Unfortunately, I don't really feel like he got a really good showing on the table yet.
I think
But
we've had one good showing with Red Skull on the
yeah,
channel, and that was when you played Sentinels into Hydra, and Red Skull just sat there all game. You can't pull me.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this game, while the Hydra Troopers kind of did their thing, unfortunately, Red Skull getting dumpstered kind of meant they didn't get to show themselves off. Whereas maybe Elektra or Shadowland Daredevil might have had a little bit more play, and I would have upgraded Crossbones to someone a little tankier.
Now, interestingly enough, I think what I would have liked to see in this one actually would have been Shadowland's Daredevil using his leadership,
Yeah.
because I don't think Claw's leadership really does much for a team.
Yeah, no,
Well, it does nothing for a team, but
I love him flying around and blasting people, but I was trying to see if I could make that a little more stylish.
well, imagine what his Supersonic Annihilator would have been with the rerolls from Shadowland Daredevil,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there was a couple instances where I got like just enough to block all the damage.
Yep.
And you having a reroll could have been, okay, well, I'm going to push that 1 point of damage through at the very least, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And or maybe like you get that pierce through or something like that, or even Deadpool. Deadpool's like, okay, well, I didn't get Dance Party, so let's do a reroll to try and get Dance Party.
There was another shock to my system when I realized 2 shorts off of Crossbones wasn't enough to get to your side of the points.
This was a rough setup.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, maybe he had to be over here to get to the.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was definitely one of those. There is definitely some list building I could have done to change that a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 shorts doesn't even get you to the middle. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a couple things you were playing around with something. You were trying something out.
Yeah.
And admittedly, like the A-Force list was kind of a little bit more fire and forget. Like this is a very friendly A-Force list in the sense of you don't need to really pilot it.
Well, and I think that all the characters do really well by themselves. They are actually functionally they have good defenses and good attacks, so they could really bring a lot of damage to bear. And while I definitely think Claw is capable of fighting maybe one or two of them at a time, maybe one of them at a time, one of them in Valkyrie at a time, but he definitely was supposed to use things like sacrifice and stuff like that to make sure when things went really bad, someone else would take
your sacrifice target was Crossbones.
It was supposed to be, and I moved away from him, and I immediately like slapped my head, going like, "Yeah, that was a mistake."
You moved away from him because he was dazed.
Well, yes, but I was going to move towards Deadpool over here, and I realized I couldn't quite get to where I wanted to be, and it was like, well, okay, never mind.
So I will say, and I don't think this was the game-breaking move as well. I was expecting you to go harder into Jen because you left her. She was on 17 at the end of the day here.
Well, and the real problem with that was, what if I had taken out Jen? Unfortunately, Carol was going to be a big problem for a long time if I left her going.
Taking out Jen. Here's the thing: the A-Force leadership fueled my team.
It did.
Because you had two of my people stunned, which was actually hampering their ability to gain power.
I thought it was going to be huge. However, I needed to have another set of physical attacks over here to be able to hurt Jen a little bit better because I really felt like my energy was not making a big enough impact.
Like I do kind of question when you started putting energy attacks into Carol, just because she's really good against energy attacks.
You're absolutely right. I was more or less trying to get an extra power so that I was hoping to get some extra power and be able to move up over onto the other point, and then I was realizing that's not going to happen either. So
no, because she was just able, like, not only did she have cover, but she was also like using her wild to transform things. Like Yeah, it was.
I definitely thought early on I put Deadpool over here because I was expecting Carol to cut this way and She-Hulk to cut this way, and I was sort of right, except all the guys that were supposed to be there were gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think this is just one of those games where the plan did not survive contact with the enemy, and
Yep,
you know what? You'll probably get me next time
we'll see.
because
Yeah,
you're still coming off that hot couple wins with Dark Dimension.
yeah.
But yeah, we got lots more coming, and we'll see what happens in the near future. So definitely get involved in the conversation below. And do you have anything you want to cap off with?
No, no, no. I love where A-Force feels like they're at right now, and I want to see more reps with them.
I do too. Yeah. All right. Well, sound off below. And remember, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AegisBrand Studios. We'll see you next time. Happy wargaming.